Welcome to Fairway Media's coverage of Round 2 2021 Falling Barn Open, the NSRA course brought to you by Gripped Disc Golf and you. Hit that email down below if you would like to advertise in the next video. Once again, we see one of the iconic barns out here at a tournament run by our man Cole, doing such a beautiful job out here. This event is top-notch. Do not miss it if you have a chance. Skagit Valley Disc Golf Club doing big things out there. Commentary by myself, Corey Jones, and Bhrahsten Waugh is going to tell us who is on the card.
Glad to, because this is a great card. All right, first we got Blake Kelly from Pennsylvania. He just stopped up here. He was on his way on like a little road trip. We got Curtis Ferrill from Port Orchard. Such a nice guy. We got Kenny Clark again, winner of the last year's tournament. Saw him on round 1, absolutely shredding. And we have myself, representing Mando's Disc Golf Shop in Auburn, Washington. Go check it out.
Mando's is awesome. They were actually my first ever sponsor.
Love what they're doing over there.
Your local shops. Hole 1. Here we are again, par 4, 646 feet. You have OB path and right. You have OB on the left. And you have to hit a island green coming up there that you see. Drop zone if you miss it. This round it played above par, which is fairly average for the course. Again, you can find OB in a number of different ways, which is how most players are going to add additional strokes.
That's the most, like, that never, I don't think I'll ever meet anybody with that name again.
I don't think I will either.
I kind of getting the vibes on, getting the card ready. Looks like a really fun card to be a part of.
R-A-H-S-T-O-N.
E-N.
E-N.
God, he was
Almost
way
got
off.
it right. Almost got it right.
Look, I probably put at least 4 H's every time I spell your name, so I'll figure it out one of these times.
Okay. Yeah.
Do it again.
Yeah, dude, super pumped to play with these guys. I've played with Kenny multiple times, grown up with him.
Yeah, he says go ahead.
But this is my first time playing with Curtis, and definitely first time playing with Blake.
Yeah, this will be a treat. I've never seen Blake play before. I've gotten to play with Curtis multiple times. Absolutely one of my favorite people. Man, Blake's got a spin on that disc. He's got some form. That's
yeah.
That's some speed. That's a great shot. That'll be fun to watch him play today. Once again, Curtis lining up. I imagine 3 out of 4 of you are going to go backhand. If I had to take a guess. Curtis is a very just well-rounded player. Solid mental game. Again, like you said, one of the nicest people you're ever going to meet. Brings such an amazing vibe to the card. And to have you and Kenny as well, like, that's an amazing card.
Oh, yeah.
Kenny showing off the forehand that he has.
Man, that was just a nice, like, forward skip.
He has really good angle control as well as distance. But that also was a good skip. You don't really see a ton of skip out here at this time of year. The grass was really well manicured, though, so there was a bit of ground play out here when you were in this part.
Yeah, I'm going with the first run Heimberg Destroyer. Just left a little too wide.
Oh,
And
right on the edge,
unlucky.
though.
Yeah. Yeah. It went OB, though, so had to take it back. I think this
What are you
was
throwing
probably... Throwing a Thunderbird. Big German 21 Thunderbird. Just like a little pitch up. But it came out too early, and it went OB.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. Not the start you want at all. Especially trailing by 3.
Yeah, it's definitely an unfortunate way to start your round, but you know, showing that the hole does average a half a stroke over par, that's you're seeing why. Like, it has such a potential to do what it just did to you, and it presents out of bounds in so many different ways that it's not hard to find if you make even just the slightest mistake. So. And Blake really got a move on that drive, and he's playing it safe. Looks like quite a smart play. He doesn't really want to attack that, you know. He's just going to go for his par, which in the position he's in, I think is the right play. He has a stroke lead, and it's unlikely that he's going to lose too many by doing what he's doing there. So Kenny looks like he also laid it up just to the front edge there.
Yeah, none of us know, but he went for it.
Well, and you know, y'all are in a particular position where you're you're chasing down 1 to 2, maybe in your case 3 strokes off
Yep.
the lead. So you all are going to be playing in a different mindset than most of the rest of the field.
Playing smarter, not harder.
That's probably shorter than he hoped, but plenty safe.
Yeah. And then I was thinking about like giving it a run a little bit, but not really at the same time, just because I knew that the OB wasn't directly behind the basket, so I could give it a little bit of a run, other than like Kenny where he's at right now, because it's directly
Right.
behind the basket, but still wanted to give it that safe bid.
It's a smart play because it definitely still could have gone out of bounds at that kind of corner of the fence line there. You see the wall does kind of stop. Kenny playing it smart though. Looks like all of you have done the right move. Really, Blake with the only little bit of a tester, and that's not too long. So we'll see how his putt stroke is. I would assume it's pretty good. That's why he's sitting on top with a 9 down. Gets it in there.
Puts it in. He puts with daggers. I don't see many people putt with them. Really deep
Definitely
putter.
not. Yeah, it has. I was gonna say it's very, very deep. So
Tapping in my double bogey. Not how you want to start the round at all. Losing 2 strokes, potentially 3, because right behind me, tied with me on chase card was Jesse Bickley, and he can definitely put a move on.
Absolutely. Bickley is a shredder. I've got to spend some time with him as well. Hole 2, par 3, 297 feet. Once again, this plays as a peninsula. OB all around the basket in the long grass. You're throwing from the elevated tee pad. I would assume most players that do throw backhand will stick with that. Not all players do though, and you have plenty of room up in the sky there, so you really have a lot of options. Blake lining up the backhand here.
If you're gonna see a bunch of us go with a turnover with like a putter, just because of how short it is, and
that looks to have caught the long grass on the right hand side there. Looks like Curtis may be lining up the overhand here.
Yeah.
Which if you have it, I think it's a really safe play. It's going to really open up all the space in the world because you're throwing over the only gap. And if you have good control with it, it's likely going to land in a pretty good zone. And that's, giving him a chance there to convert on the 2.
And you could even get like a nice little bounce towards the basket too because of that angle it's hitting at.
Right, and the grass there, while it is mowed very well, it's not going to really skip too much, but an overhand does have a nice kind of bounce because you're hitting the rim of the disc usually. So it looks like got a couple bids there. Should be a couple chances for birdie. Looks like you're lining up with is that a putter?
Yeah. It's going to be
do you have one that you throw off the tee pad more often than others, or do you use this?
No, I mean, normally I just have like a straight putter, a little overstable, and then my overstable putters. And that one was my straighter putter, which is going to be a Valerie Mendojano AVR that I used to putt with. But now it's a little too beat in, and I just use it for throwing.
Well, that was dead straight, so that was a great shot from you.
Yeah, thank you.
We have Blake stepping up to the drop zone, which, as you can see, it's more of a toss than a putt. But he gives a good move at it, and he's definitely right in zone there. He should tap that in no problem. Kenny lining up his birdie attempt here with one of his bangers. Great putt.
Oh, yeah.
He honestly has one of the most beautiful spin putts you're going to see. He has such control over that. Curtis also is an absolute slayer on the green. Looking forward to watching this round from him.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Let's go.
That was a huge putt, too.
Oh, boy.
Both of those were pretty... Those were both about circle's edge, maybe a little farther, too. So to see them both hit, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a great way to keep the beginning of your round running strong and building confidence, and that's great to see 3 birdies out of the card here. Blake with the unfortunate drive, but again, he cleaned that up, and that's about as good as you're going to get in that situation. So
yeah,
that is what you have to do. Moving on to hole 3, par 4, 596 feet. Hello there. Everybody wave hi. Hi. So we're going straight up the fairway. You can see the OB on the right that ends a little over halfway up the fairway. The large tree on the left is a Mando to keep you from crossing into the barn. And once again, there is a bit of a slope going down the back of the green there. Looks like we have Curtis lining up a forehand, which is a pretty safe play. You have a lot of room to work from left to right, especially if you're throwing something that's going to carry. That looks like it may be more left than he had hoped, but should be...
It looked like it was high enough, so it could have got that drift. Yep, it did, which is...
Yeah.
That's a great spot.
It really is. Like, from where he's at, he'd be able to attack that corner pretty efficiently.
He might be a little pinched off, but still not horrible.
Kenny following suit with a great forehand, putting himself right up in the center. Looks like you're going to line up the backhand.
Yep. Throwing a one of my beat-in savants, which is a fairway driver by Innova, and it flies like a beat-in Thunderbird, which is money.
And that is an absolute smash from you, my guy.
Yeah, that is easily the best drive I've had on this hole, and probably one of the best drives you'll ever see. Not ever see, but you'll see in a while.
That is the best drive I've ever seen on this hole for sure. So,
all right, cool, sweet.
Smash from that, dude.
Thank you.
Absolute smash. Most players aren't even going for that, let alone making it happen. So that's a great shot. I'd say most of the good drives you see are landing in the zone that the other three landed in. That's a fairly common good drive. So to see you making it up to that part of the corner,
yeah, I was definitely surprised when I saw it go up that far, because I didn't think it was going to be up that far at all.
Yeah, that was a great drive. We have Kenny lining up a pretty simple hyzer, and as somebody that is mostly known as a forehand player, his backhand has come a long way. It's really good to see his game rounding out. That one was a little tight to the corner there, but honestly, that was a pretty good result from everything that could have gone wrong there.
Yep.
Like you said previously, Curtis is a little tucked in, but it's such an open hyzer that I feel he's going to have no problem clearing that. And that is in a great shot position.
Looked like it stood up and rolled a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that it didn't go too far down the hill.
Blake is a little bit more sawed off, but again, the Mando being the base or the center of that tree really allows a player to just open up over the top of it, and with the amount of distance that y'all got off the tee pad, it's not asking too much to just throw a spike like you saw there, and Blake definitely executed that really well.
Great shot by
You're almost
Blake.
So close that you have to do something you may not have thought of.
Yeah, definitely. Throwing a one of my more straighter throwing putters, a Ricky Wysocki AVR driver. Got a little short, but still fine from where I was at, because it was a little pinched off to throw the hyzer.
Right, that's one of the rare sites where you're going to see that you almost get punished for throwing it so far up the fairway. But it allows you still here. You're well within a range that I've seen you hit many a putts. So seeing you line up. What is your main putting putter? What are you putting with here?
I use the Valerie Menduhano AVRs, which is pretty much like a galactic AVR, like the old McPros.
Gave that a solid bid. Looked like it might have just been a chain link or two high.
Yeah, just a little high left.
So Curtis did get a little down the hill, but seems like he's still well within striking range. There it is.
Great putt.
Solid birdie from Curtis. Blake is also just right in the zone there. Solid putt, good speed. Definitely seems to be a very confident player.
Definitely.
Easy little tap in for yourself.
Yeah, kind of bummed to get the par for having that good of a drive, but still no harm done.
Yeah, with the hole averaging just slightly above par, yeah, definitely you didn't really lose too many from the field there. Moving on to hole 4, par 3, 304 feet, excuse me. You have OB both right and left, and a pretty treacherous drop-off behind the basket, which is probably the biggest hazard the hole has to offer.
Yep.
Curtis going.
This is I believe it's a a mortar from Curtis. Great shot. Yeah, I believe he's actually sponsored by Millennium.
I know that he has a lot of Millennium plastic, so yeah.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
This one looks like it's going a little wide, but it seems to have the stability. It's just, it's a good thing that it hit that backdrop, because that
that would have been gone.
That could have gone much worse. I would assume that stayed somewhat up the hill, the way that it fell. It didn't look like it was going to roll too far. Kenny, of course, going once again with the forehand. He has such control over that.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to put it wide and let it just fight its way back.
A little wider than last round. But still, great spot to be.
Yeah, puts himself well within the range that he needs to convert for that 2. It looks like you're also going with the forehand.
Yep. Just throwing a really overstable Firebird. Didn't get it wide enough. But pretty nasty skip too. Down the hill.
Yeah,
not too bad though.
Like I said earlier, that's really the biggest thing you have to deal with on this hole is if you go too long, it can be almost unmanageable if you make it to the bottom. And even if you're not too far down, you can see these little clusters of trees really make for some pretty interesting lines. And that was an amazing putt. What a shot. I'm so glad we could see it from this angle.
I was excited I was excited, looking forward to seeing it from this angle.
That tree did not want you to wear a hat.
Nope, it didn't.
Readjust. Get ready to make the putt. Looks like you have a pretty similar line to follow.
Yeah, it was looking at the same exact gap as Blake's did, except mine was just closer.
Great putt.
Thank you. Yeah, that one felt really good to hit.
Yeah, that was dead center on the stripe. Could not have hit any better. Awesome catch cam work from the man, the mullet, the myth, the Melnick. Kenny lining up. The patented spin putt here. Oh, wide right. You're not going to see that very often from Kenny.
Yeah, especially he went downhill too, so
that must have had a bit of a kick and a roll for it to be at the angle. It looks like.
Yeah, I don't really remember, but huge putt to come back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very uncharacteristic miss from Kenny. That's not something you're going to see from him very often. Curtis being the closest should have very little problem tapping that in, keeping the streak alive. He's on one right now. He's feeling it.
Yep. Well, yeah, that hole played the easiest, being a .56 under par.
Hole 5 coming in, 309 feet. Once again, our first look at one of the art baskets in the park. Pretty straightforward shot. Most players are going to opt for the backhand hyzer, being right-handed, and it's pretty straightforward. You just don't want to be too early left where you can still catch some out of bounds. As long as you're able to throw about 300 feet, which most everybody in the MPO field will be able to do, you shouldn't have too much trouble here. You see Curtis putting it in a bush that's pretty close, which is kind of really the last thing you have to miss, and one of the only obstacles on the course on the hole outside of OB. That being said, he should be well within range to hit. Blake puts it a little further behind, but scoops around the corner, and he'll have a look at it as well.
Yep. Going with a rock 3. I made sure to keep it a little bit wider this round because I came was a little too early last time, and finished just short. So I made sure to keep it wide, and pretty good drive.
That was placed well. Kenny going with an overhand this time.
Yep. Making sure, because last round he left it short, so he wanted to make sure that he got it out there this time. And not a bad spot.
If you haven't already seen round 1 and you'd like to see more of Kenny play, he was also featured in round 1 coverage. Make sure to check that out if you, for some reason, skip straight to round 2. Kenny lining up here. He has to go to a knee so that he has an angle around that bush. Once again, just kind of highlighting how those can be a bit of an issue. Oh, what a beautiful run, though.
That spin of the disc just made it Yeah, the spin of the disc just made it come right out.
Curtis lining up here. Looks like he's going to go to a knee just to get a little bit more swing. Fairly close, but again, you can see that even being well within the circle, those can still offer some trouble. Yep, he went to a knee and overcompensated, throwing a little bit high. You can see that rock 3 landed in a great position for yourself, giving you a birdie.
Yep.
Nice shot there.
But Blake took the CTP, putting it even closer.
Should be pretty easy work for him as well.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right. That's going to make it tied currently at the top there with Blake and Curtis on the card. There's the old tomato submarine. Those art baskets really are cool.
They are.
Moving on to hole 6. It's a par 3, 398 feet. Plays slightly less because it is downhill, but you do have to carry most of the distance above these trees, so you don't really get the benefit of the downhill till the very end of the flight. It's a pretty demanding hole, usually one of the harder ones.
Thank you, Danimal.
Round 2, it averaged .39 above par.
Thank you, everybody.
We love you, Cole.
I'm just visiting.
You can see some of the work crew and people hanging out to watch the action coming through here. Blake
Yeah,
stepping
and
up.
shout out to all the spotters that helped on this hole, because there was so many. Because this hole is very tricky if you're just by yourself, because you have no idea where the disc is going to be going.
Absolutely, everybody involved with the event helped make this what it is, and it's one to attend every year that you can. But specifically, as you said, yeah, there was a great spotter vibe and a lot of people here helping on this hole, so that was very beneficial. Looks like that came a little wide right, but seems to have got through most everything.
Yeah, which was very, very fortunate.
What are you throwing off the tee there?
I threw a champion leopard.
Okay.
Yep. One of the best fairway drivers in my opinion, just because of how relatively straight it is.
Curtis gets a little bit of a low kick, and it looks like he may be kind of off in the rough there on the right. This looks good from Kenny. That's
Oh yeah.
from this angle, that's what you want to see from the tee pad. Yeah, absolutely. That was such a great shot. Just highlighting again how much Kenny's been working on his backhand as a player over the years, because that was a beautiful shot from Kenny. Now Curtis having to make a little magic happen here, going with a forehand roller.
Which is pretty much all you got from there because of how low that ceiling is.
You're right. There's really not much else you can do. That one may have got a little bit off course for him, but you can see here Blake has a little bit more of a window. He's able to kind of step out and just try to do a little bit of like a catch toss, a little bit of a floater. That might have gone a little wider than he hoped, but regardless, it's right up there.
Yeah, nice little tree kick at the end. Definitely helped.
Looks like you're lining up the forehand approach here.
Yep. Nice little zone action right there.
Very well placed. That's going to be an easy tap in for you. So this is definitely some work left for Curtis. He's showing the teeth that this hole will use for a lot of players. With only 13% of the field getting a birdie and 30% of the field getting a bogey. He gave that a great effort. There was really not much more he could do from there. Kenny lining up.
Looking to get his strokes back from the last few holes, because some missed birdie opportunities, and cashes it. That's a great two.
Sports Center top 10. What a shot from Kenny. Really good to see him capitalize on that amazing drive.
Yep. That boy Blake.
Blake with a great par save from where he was.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Blake is I'm pretty sure he is a backhand dominant player. we'll see very few, if not none, sidearms from him.
Curtis, the killer. Curtis, the killer. There's like a
So
Definitely, yeah, he seems to be a backhand dominant player, and currently, after Curtis's little hiccup there, he seems to be in the lead on the card there, but it's still a pretty tight race. I mean, you're all
Definitely.
within 4 strokes of each other. Moving into hole 7, definitely one of the more demanding greens on the course. You have OB lined on the left and just a really daunting hill. So many trees you can hit, so many roots you can hit, and really not very many landing zones that are going to offer you any kind of safety that are actually on the green. So we'll have to see how these players attack it. I feel a lot of players that are right-handed will lean to the forehand if they have it. Kenny's going to show you the line.
Yep, Kenny taking the box with that lone birdie. Very, very good birdie for that hole. And a little tight, but that's actually going to be great because it's honestly good to be tight because you're putting uphill instead of putting downhill, sort of. So if you miss, then you're not going to roll away as bad.
I can agree with that. Yeah, I think that most players are going to try to aim for where you're seeing the camera down there, catch cam, because you do have a lot of open looks from left to right. However, if you are tighter and lower down the hill, similar to where Kenny landed, you do have a safer chance at running that putt. You're less likely to blow past it. That being said, you still just have a lot of danger as far as landing zones. That's a great place to be. But again, that you now have that danger to see
That's why I stood here.
how you're going to run
Just
that
for
putt.
that shot.
Yep.
So Curtis stepping up. Looks like he will also be throwing a forehand. Following a similar line to Kenny. Curtis is just such a well-rounded player.
He
Great
is.
backhand, great forehand.
And a great putt, too.
Absolutely. You definitely seem to have a pretty clear look at it. You can see most of the basket from where you are. Fantastic. What a 2.
Thank you. That one felt really good to get.
Glad to see that from another angle. Yeah, that's a good one to get. This hole did play slightly below par at a 2.86 average. But still only, that's about a third of the field that got a birdie here in round 2. Great putt from Blake. Everybody kind of
Dead
capitalizing on these opportunities here. Kenny seems to be in a very similar area. I would expect to see him do the same. Great putt.
Funny kick from Kenny.
I love it. He has one of those styles that you only have to watch him putt once or twice and you could pick him out of a lineup from across the field.
Yep.
Yes.
Get it in there. Look at that. I mean, I'd bet money that was one of, if not the only star frame you're going to see on that. That's not something you see very often. Moving on to hole 8, par 3, 354 feet. This is one of the hardest birdies to get, and the hole shows it by playing over par. That being said, there was a 5% birdie average for the field, so somebody's getting it out there.
Yeah. People fixed it on from round 1 because there were no birdies on round 1. And to see 2 birdies or 5% birdies on round 2, that's cool.
People were bringing the A game for round 2 because this is not a hole that you're going to see birdied very often. You can see off the tee pad, it's a near 90-degree turn once you hit the fairway. It's not so much about the distance of the hole, it's about being able to make that angle and have a putt. That being said, from where you are, you'll have an open look. It's just not very many players are going to make it like that because that was an amazing drive.
Thank you. Yeah, that one felt good. It's weird because you have to push it so far to the right but forward at the same time.
It's a very specific angle, and it's not one that you're going to see on almost any other course that you play, so I agree with that. It's something that if you haven't been out here to practice that particular line, it's probably not a shot you've thrown before. Kenny giving it a good go. It's a little bit turned over, but he's going to be plenty safe on that outside. And it's pretty safe to run this green from the angle that most all of you are approaching from. Curtis opts to take a knee, go for the forehand approach here. That looks like it's going to drift under nicely. It's a little shorter than I thought, but that's still well in the circle.
Yeah, definitely within his range.
You have Blake lining up. The card really seems to have done pretty well with this hole so far.
Yeah.
You're last up with really the only legitimate putt look at a birdie. Let's go.
Yeah, that one felt really good to get.
Yeah, that is not something you see very often. That is fantastic. I think you're all 5% of the birdies.
No, actually, another birdie was by Carter Aarons.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense as well.
Yep.
Another absolute shredder.
That kid is good.
Curtis.
That kid is really good.
Absolutely. Both the Aarons brothers are... keep an eye out for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be long before you see them all over all kinds of coverage. That's fantastic. Coming through 1 under as a card. That's a pretty rare thing to do. Congratulations on that birdie. Making it an even... It's just... Everybody's so close. 9, 10, 11, 12. Like, this is a really exciting race so far. Moving into hole 9, the last hole of part 1 here. This is an island green, 221 feet to the pin. Probably about 240-ish feet to the back of the island, which is OB. Drop zone
like I said,
probably 50 to 60 feet if you have to use it.
Yeah. Like I said, first round, opted to that standstill because I kept going a little too long. And I hit that tree. I didn't know I hit that tree, which is pretty nice.
That's a good grab from the tree. That's going to make a nice, easy work, keeping you on the birdie train. Kenny coming in with a backhand hyzer, which I have to imagine is pretty much the play for everybody on this hole.
Oh, get in! Get in!
Oh my goodness, on the log. Wow, you don't see that very often.
That's crazy. I forgot it did that.
Yeah, Blake lining up. I would imagine most players are throwing a putter, perhaps an approach speed disc if you're looking for something with a little more stability. But at that range, you're not going to be wanting much more speed than that. That adds some height and some carry. Those trees were definitely friendly, keeping him well within birdie range there. Last to drive on hole 9 here, Curtis. 1 stroke back from the lead.
A little tight, but that's actually perfect. And I think he was in.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's on the island. Some by a little bit more than others.
Yes.
Let's go, Curtis. Yes. This man's energy is the best energy.
Great putt. Yeah, we ruled Kenny in because his disc was in line with inbounds.
Yeah, from the angle we saw previous from the drive, it would appear that he was at least hanging over the log enough that he's not entirely out of bounds, even if the log is the line itself. So yeah, that seems to be the right call. Looks like everybody's going to have a real good chance to make another star frame happen. That's great. Good work from the card. Couple of friendly trees keeping everybody on the island.
Putting on a show.
Absolutely. This is great work from everybody on the card. Absolutely looking forward to part 2. Thank you everybody for watching part 1. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Bhrahsten, what do you have to say?
Just, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and tune in for round 2.
Part 2 coming your way soon.
It's going to be a good one.